Ooh. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Stop the fight. No more. Can't take it anymore. Of day of college football domination, the first ever first round of 12-team playoff games that we ever saw, and it's yet another ass whooping as the Ohio State Buckeyes right now, at the time of this recording, there's 10 minutes left in this game, and Ohio State is winning 42-10. Ohio State has 461 total yards to Tennessee's 187. They have 311 pass yards, Tennessee's 92. 150 rushing, Tennessee's 95. 8.4 yards per play to 3.3. 24 first downs to 14. Ohio State's only seen third down 6 times compared to 13 for Tennessee. Interestingly enough, the same amount of total plays. So Ohio State just dominating the play-to-play basis. Only 2 penalties from Ohio State. A team looking completely rejuvenated after that Michigan debacle, and looking as capable as any of winning national championship. I'm TBob Aver. He's Aaron Murray, and we are reacting. Aaron, what's up, dog?
Man, just a disappointing weekend in college football. Honestly, was hoping that this would be the best of the games. I think that's what everyone was anticipating, that Tennessee would go in there and make it interesting, and hell, maybe win. I mean, I saw a lot of people this week pick Tennessee to win. Hell, you and I almost picked Tennessee to win.
Almost. Then we talked it out.
Almost. We talked it out and said this was going to be a close game. Ohio State at home was going to find a way. Hell, according to Kurt Herbstreit, 40,000 Tennessee fans were in that stadium. I don't know if it was 40,000. I'd say it's more around 20, 25,000, but still, like, there was a lot of confident orange in that stadium that they were going to get it done. And I'm with you, man. Ohio State showed why they're a $20 million roster and that they are more than capable of winning a national championship.
Yeah, we didn't get the gap in the game correct, but I do feel like not that this was hard, but I feel like we accurately found where the difference would be, right? We quite simply said that Will Howard is better than Nico Iamaleava and has better weapons, and, well, sure enough, Will Howard and those weapons ended up being the difference. Really from the jump. I mean, almost immediately.
But we also said this too, T, that if you look back to Tennessee this season and go back to the Georgia game, Georgia had a lot of success throwing the ball in Tennessee. And this is an Ohio State team with a quarterback who has played better this season and as we know, better weapons. So, and once again, same thing as the Georgia game, playing at home. So you're kind of anticipating that Will Howard, maybe not having this good of a football game. I mean, this is probably the best he's looked all season, minus maybe the Oregon game, but that he was going to have a pretty special night, and he did that. And Jeremiah Smith is
he's incredible.
Unbelievable. He's Julio
Is he
Jones.
the best weapon left in the playoffs? I mean, Tez Johnson really, would be up there, right?
I would say I really like Oregon's weapons, but I would say Jeremiah Smith he may be the best receiver in college football, regardless of in the playoffs or not in the playoffs.
I know, but I'm just trying to think about what weapons are left in the playoffs now at this point. Nobody from Georgia is going to make this list, really. Ashton Jeanty. Ashton Jeanty be on there.
Warren from Penn State.
Tez Johnson. Yeah, TJ Warren. Okay, so there's still a few. There's still a few, but Jeremiah Smith, you can't guard a man, you know. If you try to guard a man, even though one of my favorite plays that Jeremiah Smith made all night is one that's a little more subtle. That fourth down they had in the first half, where he's running that drag over the middle, and it's against a zone defense, and he comes back and attacks the ball. Right? He doesn't wait for the ball to come to him and hit the zone defender. He naturally feels that defender. He bends his route to attack the ball and create space, so he can then get to the ball sooner and outrun the opponent, gets the fourth down conversion, it ends up in a touchdown. It was just a small play that was so natural and instinctual and speaks to such a high athletic and football IQ. Jeremiah Smith is fantastic. Remember, we told this story a few months ago. He's been addicted to the game ever since he got cut from that 8 or 9 year old team, whatever it was. They friggin' awoken the demon.
Michael,
Uh,
start the book, start the movie on Jeremiah Smith.
I
He's
will.
an expert.
So I will say this.
The run game though looked good. That's why I was a little bit surprised with
Okay.
Ohio.
So that's what I wanted. That's so funny. We're simpatico because that's what I was going to point out is like, while I can pat ourselves on the back saying, oh, well, we had the quarterback difference right and all that. I did think that Ohio State's offensive line would struggle with this Tennessee front. It has been very, very good all year long. And you got to give credit to that O-line because it was kind of viewed as the weakness. And they dominated them. They've been running
They
all over
did.
them. They've been pass blocking well. Like, it wasn't really fluky. It wasn't like it was just a running back making incredible plays. Like, so Ohio State offensive line that was much maligned. And I did not see that coming. Completely kicked ass. And that's how you end up with a box score like you're seeing right now.
Dude, and Travion looked elite, like
So
speed wise.
fast.
I
So
was saying this,
fast.
my dad and I were watching the game, and it felt like if Tennessee looked slow, Tennessee felt slow. It reminded me a little bit of when Jalen versus Georgia. Remember when Alabama just kicked Georgia's butt in the first half, and Georgia just looked slow. Like Jalen looked like he was playing on a different level, different speed. Tonight, I felt very similar in this game where Ohio State just felt like they were playing at a different speed than Tennessee. Will, the receivers, Travion, even Judkins at times too. O-line was just being the bullies. Really a complete performance. I mean, this was as good of a performance that I've seen all year from any team.
And I mean, you want to talk about landing an opening combination with 3 minutes left in the first quarter. Ohio State had 191 yards to -6, and it was 21-0. It's like one of those old school Mike Tyson fights where they meet at the middle and then he immediately ducks under a punch and just fucking KOs him with a hook. I mean, it was over pretty much. At one point, Ohio State was averaging 11 yards a play. Tennessee was averaging -1 yards play. That was in the second quarter.
Oh. Well, my dad tried to make the excuse after like the first quarter. He's like, "Oh, if that face mask penalty didn't happen, it'd be a different game." I hope my dad doesn't hear me talking shit about him right now. I was like,
It's a big play, but
they were getting their ass kicked. That would
matter.
not have changed the outcome of this game. I mean, Ohio State was the better team, as we saw once again. Doesn't matter if it was 40,000 Tennessee fans in the stadium. Home field's a big advantage. We'll continue to say it. It is. These four environments were special. Tonight was special. It was fun to watch, and they took advantage of it. And listen, we talk about you bring up the quarterback difference. I thought Nico played well. Like Nico was a one-man band. Like no Dylan Sampson.
No. Well, you know what it kind of reminds me of though? Remember how Ohio State allowed Drew Aller to play against him as well? Where they're like, okay, we'll give you plays with your legs now and then.
Yeah.
That's fine, but we're just going to play coverage and you're not going to be able to keep up. So, like, I don't
play
know.
Bad.
I think Nico played tough. I mean, that motherfucker got his helmet cracked. Oh,
I haven't seen that before that.
Did you see the picture?
Oh, I know.
Look at this picture. This thing will blow your mind.
But we said it all year with Tennessee. Where are the athletes?
Look
at
this crack, bro. Do you see this crack right here?
Wild.
Oh my God. I mean, I knew he got lit up that first play, but bro, what? Oh my God, dude. So Nico played tough. But Will Howard played awesome.
But without Dylan Sampson, Squirrels hurt.
Yeah. No Dylan Sampson.
Where's the support? So Nico didn't play terrible. Nico is probably far down on the list of reasons why Tennessee lost his football game.
No, I mean, look, you're a defensive team, and your defense got wrecked. Like,
yes,
you were not carried by
your defense and running football.
Yeah, you were not carried by Nico all year. That's not how you won games. You won the games running the ball and playing defense. And unfortunately, our bag of football cliches have failed us because in this case, defense and running the ball did not travel well. Dylan Sampson being hurt, whatever. I will say, after the first three results, this is a bit of a blow for the strength of schedule SEC camp because Tennessee had good strength of schedule. They
beat Bama.
They played in the SEC and emerged as a 2-loss team. Like, they got waxed. And you can see that Ohio State school, clearly they played the best team in Ohio State. It's an 8 and 9 seed. It was actually the most properly seeded game of the day in terms of
Yeah.
what the two teams did during the regular season.
Mhm.
So I don't know who's good. I don't know who's no. That's not true. I don't know who's bad. Like we all use the word bad, but I do know who's good. And this is one takeaway that I did enjoy from today, or this whole weekend, even though it was a bit frustrating. I think that all four of the winners are, right there with Oregon, maybe slightly behind. Ohio State, maybe even on par.
I think Ohio State's the best team in college. I have Ohio State win the national championship. I thought if Ohio State got the rematch in the Big Ten, they would beat Oregon in the Big Ten championship game. Obviously, we saw Penn State play a somewhat competitive game in that Big Ten championship game. A competitive first half versus Ohio State, but I would still lean. There's 3 elite teams, and depending on what Gunner looks like, maybe 4. That's Oregon, that's Ohio State, and that's Texas. When those 3 teams are playing their best, they are better than the rest.
I mean, Notre Dame's right with him talent-wise, though. You don't think? They know themselves so well offensively. Their defense will hang with anybody. They would maybe have to even stop Ohio State. Remember, Notre Dame should have beat Ohio State last year. Not for Marcus Freeman having 10 people on the field.
Yeah, but that was without Will Howard, though.
Yeah,
I think Will
wasn't
Howard
on
was
the
the missing
road,
piece.
though. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't on the road.
It was at Notre Dame. It was at Notre Dame.
Okay. I think you're right. Those teams would probably be a tier above, even though I don't know about Notre Dame. I would definitely put Penn State right below them. But because of Penn State's path, like they could get hot and win a natty. So it is a situation where the winners have excited me for the matchups to come in the future. All right,
I think this is going to get significantly better going forward. It will not be as bad as it was this weekend. I'll tell you that.
I'll talk about seeding in a second, but first get these super chats. Tony Wilson, thank you for $10. So Aaron's, I got a bone to pick with you and TBob, by the way. Y'all keep saying Gunner can't beat Notre Dame's defense, but he came from behind to beat Texas, whose defense is better than Notre Dame's. Run game is key. I think Texas and Notre Dame are pretty similar defenses. I would say, well, look, to be clear, we've been very clear about, I'm not saying can't, but in terms of it, what is most likely, I just logically cannot expect Gunner to do that against a lit defense. I'm not saying he can't, but I don't think it's most likely. More than there's a massive difference coming into a game and starting a game, and somebody game planning for you for a game. Look at Marcel Reed when he came in against LSU versus when he's going to be the starter the next week. Like that's a huge gulf, especially when you get to this quality of team. Like Marcus Freeman and that very good defensive staff have been breaking down how they're going to try to confuse and exploit Gunner for what? How much run time are they going to have here? I mean, they already started. They've already started the advance work. Yes. And now they have 11 more days, 10 more days. So I just think it's a very tough situation that Gunner is in. If Georgia wins, though, it'll be like a magnum opus sort of win. It'll be such a program win.
Yeah, but I don't think they need him necessarily to have a monster game to win it. I think they just need him to play well, which he's capable of doing. But like T said, and as I played the position, to tell a kid that, hey, your first game, even with 3 weeks of preparation, your first game is going to be the Sugar Bowl against that defense. It's mentally daunting. So we'll see what he's made of. No doubt about it. Like daunting,
turns out.
Yeah.
John McCoy, $10 super says not to overreact, but I wonder if it's even possible for the committee to keep bowls important while making the 12-team format competitive with these first games, not without other big changes. So I do think I was very wrong about something. As you know, I didn't think the gap was as wide between the lower seeded team, or I should say ranked. I didn't think the gap was that wide between the lower ranked teams and the higher ranked teams. Obviously, I was wrong. So the real root problem here is conference champions getting the auto bye. Because if you had seeded this based off of where everybody was ranked, then you would have had basically all the teams that won this weekend get the bye, and you would have like Arizona State versus SMU, right? And Boise versus Indiana. And we'll see how this next round plays out. Maybe if somebody ends up shocking us, I would love it if somebody would, by the way. But from where we sit today, it feels like those probably would have been more exciting week one matchups. So now, because of this auto buy situation, you've created a deal where instead of maybe a good game and then a bad one, we kind of might get bad, and then start to get to the good. But we'll see.
Well, I mean,
We'll
if we get to 14, which I think is what's going to happen come 2026, you only get 2 teams that get a bye. So
I mean,
I think
sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
No, I'm just saying, like, it'll be better at that point.
Yeah.
You're not getting 4 teams because then this year you would just have Georgia and Oregon 1, 2, and then everyone else would be ranked for 14 afterwards.
And also let's not get so kind of sucked up in our disappointment that we ignore the fact that at the end of this, we will have a very satisfactory champion, right? Like, you can say this team isn't good, this team isn't good, like we all want to do it, it's very reductive, whatever, blah, blah. But whoever emerges out of this 12-team field will be a legitimate national champion.
Well, and I don't think it's just about the playoff either, T. To me, it still goes to the fact of this football season was more exciting because of the 12-team playoff. November football was the best I've ever been a part of because of more opportunities for teams to get in.
Yeah.
It made every game more important. It made me want to watch games that a year ago I would not have watched because I'm like, I don't give a shit that these 2 teams are playing. Like, they're playing for they're playing for a bowl game. Well, all of a sudden they're playing for a playoff spot. So it made the regular season more special. So just because this isn't as good as a whole, taking from the end of August to where we are now, this has been the best 4 months of college football that I've been a part of. And that's because of this playoff. So I'm just going to take away this one small part of it this first weekend and say, you know what? It can't be perfect. This weekend sucked, but 95% of this season has been amazing because of the playoff.
Well, yeah, it may have sucked, but you did learn something about the teams that won.
Sure.
They looked very good, very strong, and you know that they are very good football teams, right? Like, there is no doubt about that going forward, and now they all have to play each other eventually somewhere along the line. Captain Spartan 04 says, by the way, thank you for the random Louisville shout out Monday and Tuesday this week. We're about to win a natty in volleyball tomorrow. Favorite Christmas movies. My favorite Christmas movie is It's a Wonderful Life, without a doubt. Everybody knows this. I think I talked about it for like 20 minutes the other day. I'm waiting to watch it till probably Monday night, actually, and I'm going to drink probably half a fifth of bourbon while watching, and I'll be reduced to tears by the end of it.
The Grinch.
The Ron Howard Grinch?
No.
Original cartoon Grinch?
No.
The new cartoon Grinch?
No.
The Ron Howard Grinch is a Jim Carrey Grinch.
Yes, there you go. Jim Carrey.
Okay, Grinch. Ron Howard's a director. Yes.
There you go. I don't know director as well as you. Yes, Jim Carrey.
Very
Grinch.
good movie. That would be top 5 on my Christmas movie list as well. I think you got. If we were to do a playoff bracket, I'd go It's a Wonderful Life. These would be getting the buys. It's a Wonderful Life, Christmas Vacation, Christmas Story.
Harry Potter.
No. Harry Potter's not making the list. Seasonal, not necessarily Christmas. Seasonal to the fall. Holiday, yes. Christmas, no. Some say Die Hard should get a buy, I'd have to check their schedule, what movies they were up against that year, but I could entertain that.
Elf.
Elf is in the bracket. I don't know if it gets a buy. Chex Mix $5 says, was this game a talent difference or coaching difference and or both? Cool to be in, but getting beat that.
I think there's a talent difference. I think there was a slight talent difference. It's a $20 million roster.
Yeah, playing at its full potential.
And Tennessee spent a lot of money on their roster, no doubt about it. But I mean,
but I would say it's way deeper in that process.
Well, Nico's young. Nico's still his first year.
Yeah,
I think Nico has a bright future. I think Nico has more of an upside than Will Howard does eventually, but you have a more veteran quarterback. You have the 2 best running. You have two of the best running backs in the country versus what would be probably one of the best running backs in the country and Dylan Sampson, but he didn't even play.
Yeah.
So then obviously major swing to Ohio State. And Tennessee's receivers
Jeremiah Smith and Igbuka are better than anybody that Tennessee has.
By far. Tennessee, the biggest disappointment for Tennessee this year was the receivers were nowhere near as good as advertised.
I think Iamaleava just ran for a touchdown, which, again, this reminds me very much of how they played Drew Aller, where it's like, okay, you can run, that's fine, but we're going to play coverage, and when you run, we're going to fucking hit you, and we're just going to let you do that all game, and you will not be able to keep up with our weapons. And here we are. Huge congrats to Ohio State. Desperately needed. We were doubting them, thought the mental health was very brittle and fragile right now. Thought for sure that, there was potential that they could just fail on this stage, shock and all. But they not only did they win, but Aaron, like you're saying, I think a lot of the talk's going to be that they've reasserted themselves as maybe the potential favorite
I would
to win it all. It's going to be
that next game versus Oregon is going to be.
So that is next round, right? I don't want to speak out of turn and get yelled at. Well, that is next round.
Not only is that next round, that's the Rose Bowl. I mean, that may be the best game of the entire thing. This could be classified as possibly a national championship.
Oregon, you gotta hate this feeling if you're the Ducks, bro.
Yeah, you think Oregon's sitting at home right now knowing that they were offensive pass interference away from losing that first round in your home stadium, and you just watched Ohio State absolutely smash Tennessee.
I mean, I kind of know that feeling, We got lucky to beat Alabama in 2011, and then we had to replay them in the national championship. And even though the season series ends 1-1, you end up, you're the loser and they're the immortal champions. Like Oregon, it's really hard to beat a good team twice, Oregon. Good luck, dude. Good luck. So what do our next round matchups look like? Okay, so Tennessee, Oregon. Ohio State, Oregon. That's going to be incredible. Texas, Arizona State. Texas probably going to dominate that game.
Yeah.
Penn State, Boise State feels like a bad matchup for Boise, dude. And then Notre Dame, Georgia should be really, really good. With maybe a slight edge to Notre Dame, in my opinion, but basically a pick 'em in my head. Early ESPN spreads have Texas a 13.5-point favorite, Penn State 10, Georgia 1.5. I thought that opened at Notre Dame.
It was opened at Notre Dame, but it's moved, I guess. What do you think? I think Ohio State's favored.
The Duck Knight says the same team usually wins the second time. I don't think that's true, but I think it's that in the NFL, at least, if you win twice, if you meet a third time, you actually do win the vast majority of the time. Wait, what do you guys say?
A Francis Cart says, what happens if Dylan Sampson plays? Anything different on offense? I think you definitely get some difference in offense, but you're not winning the football game.
The gap is so large here that it's hard for the face mask, the injuries. The gap is so large that it's hard to play those games. I mean, it's kind of like something I forgot to mention in our Clemson post show, right? I said there were two kind of sequences. They had that sequence in the first half where they had the pick six that would have made it 21-14. They had the illegal blindside block, which I didn't think that was a blindside block, man. I don't know. I thought the guy could make the tackle, whatever. So then that takes away a score, and then you had a chance for a pick that you drop right in your hands. They end up scoring a touchdown, and all of a sudden, because of those two plays, it's 28-10 instead of 21-14 with the ball to try to go tight. So it's like these moments happen. The good teams make them, the bad teams don't, and the gap is so large in this game that I don't think you can play any of those games in terms of this, if only this one or two things would have gone our way, because they've just been consistently getting run on and run over all night long. AMG3 says Tennessee seems like they can never win big games. Well, I mean, look, I don't want to be too much of a hater here, but where's the last thing I'll pull up before we go? For all the James Franklin hate that he was getting with his record against top 5 teams, it's not been good for the Volunteers either. As my computer's loading really slow.
Hmm.
Hold on. Relax there. We're about to go. Relax. Did you ever watch the Superman trailer, by the way?
No, we're not watching it now, though. Your boy
We're
is
not
tired.
watching. Okay, we're not watching it. You need to stop. You need to stop. No, you need to stop. Just
Man,
wait
you need
2
to fucking
seconds.
stop.
Okay. Here we go. Look,
I've already climaxed. Come on.
this is Tennessee's record against top 5 teams in the last like 3 or 4 years, or maybe it's longer than that. I think since like James Franklin's been at Penn State, but it's now 1-16 is the point.
Oof.
So we talk about James Franklin all the time. Tennessee's got to prove this as well. Indiana's now 0-17. All right. Not the weekend we were hoping for, guys, but impressive wins from the 4 teams that are moving on. And I remain very excited about the next steps. Travis Hesketh, go Buckeyes. Hell yeah, man. Enjoy it. If you're a Buckeye fan, you desperately needed this. All right, Aaron. You have a great night, man. Happy Hanukkah. Merry Christmas.
Happy Hanukkah. We'll see you tomorrow, probably.
I'll see you tomorrow. We're going to do a recap show tomorrow night. Go over things that we missed and whatnot. Thank you all so much. We love you, and we'll see you in the next episode of Snaps.